Altcoins continue on in their bullish ascent, breaking past resistance, saying, bear market? Not on this exchange. Meanwhile, Bitcoin continues limping along weakly sideways, reminding me very much of a baby horse learning how to walk. Apple CEO Tim Cook, when questioned, gives a strong no to cryptocurrency. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve confirms that digital dollars will be inevitable. In more recent news, a death cross is looming over Bitcoin. Is this something you should be concerned about, and are you prepared to deal with it? Or does it even mean anything? All these answers and more in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Let's get going, guys. Welcome back to Breaking Bitcoin, guys. Recorded live in the studio for you guys. Today is Friday, October 4th, 2019. Foul year of our Lord. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in across this barren wasteland that we call planet Earth. A little bit more tropical in some regions than others, but overall. And it doesn't matter whether you're watching us from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or of course on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. Special one over there. Yeah, we had to jump through hoops to get that one. If you guys want to support the show, make sure to subscribe, follow, share, and engage in the live chat. And I promise you, one of these days, when I say those things, I'll have little things that pop up and I can point to them. You can also follow us over there on Twitter as well if you guys want to catch the latest of my sometimes random ramblings. We've got a fantastic show for you guys today. As always, today's episode is brought to you by the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. I believe that's the sound of profit being taken. Today's episode is brought to you by the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. If you are a new or aspiring trader, or perhaps you're an experienced trader that is looking to sharpen your skills and would like to work with a team that deals in the realm of objective data, backtesting, statistical analysis, and verified technical strategy. Either way, head over to premium.krakencryptocurrency.com to see all that the group can offer for you. And I also want to thank this month's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, Spectre Security Coin. Make sure to go check them out over at spectresecurity.io for all your security needs. And we're going to start off today's show, as we always do, by giving away some crypto and diving right into the live scene to break down the markets, guys. Thanks for joining. We're going to have a fantastic show. Let's get going, guys. Boom, boom. Always forget to set this up. Always forget to set that up. Well, hopefully you guys like the new layout. I had quite a lot of fun doing this. So here we are. Again, thank you so much to this month's crypto sponsor, Spectre Security. We're going to load the comments of today's video, or excuse me, yesterday's video. We have 9 potential winners. Yesterday's video was, where is Bitcoin heading? JP Morgan's Bitcoin prediction, digitizing the dollar. We're going to follow up on that today, and crypto interest. So just so you guys know, not only is Coinbase allowing you USDC deposits, Coinbase Pro is also raising their fees. Randomly picking a winner, and Sainsy. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate the support, my good friend. Thank you so much for the comment. And he asks or says, you ever done a feature on the cryptos you stake? I've never done a feature on them. I have talked about them. Maybe that's something to do moving forward. You know, we have a whole bunch of Crypto 101 videos that this channel has not focused on explaining. And if you would like to help, not just you, Brian, but if any of you guys out there would like to help out with that, to help provide information to people who really need it the most, to explain somewhat of the difference between staking, to explain the difference between mining, to explain some of the basics that, you know, just new people to crypto, and more and new people come in every single day, and they need to have some good information. So if you guys would like to help us out, either by writing articles on the website or perhaps even helping us shoot videos, please contact us in the Discord, because I would love to provide the best possible education and information I can, even on topics that this channel typically doesn't focus on, whereas we do typically focus on trading. So thank you guys so much. Brian, hit me up in the Discord for your prize, my good friend. And with that being said, let's hop right into the live scene. And here we are in said live scene. And let's hop over here to the chart. Yes, that is the sound of profit being taken. That is our first take profit on Decentraland, Mana, and Steam. BTC did hit its first take profit target earlier today. So congratulations for the guys in the group. Not really congratulations, just a regular day in the group. Good stuff. Make sure you guys move your stop loss to break even, as is the procedure. All is well. Luckily, I have a little bit of help on that end when I am live streaming. Now, moving right along from that being said, hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. Let me pull up the chat and see who is all in here today. I kind of got the monitor switched left and right. Normally I have them a little bit differently, so I think I'm going to switch that back around. I don't really like having to peer through my microphone to see the chat. Okay. We've got Wally, Crypto Da Vinci. Good morning, my friend. Ricky Thompson, Cryptonomics. Sainsy is in the house. Nitin Soki, Mass Stash, the one and the only MT Coiner, Ron Legato. AGW checking in. Good to see you, my friend. Midwest Attempts and Dark Rico. Good to see you guys. Hopefully you're doing absolutely fantastic this morning. Let's not waste any time because your time is precious, as is mine. So I've been told. Here we are on the Bitcoin chart on the daily. Overall, we are putting in somewhat of a bearish candle, long wick to the downside. So obviously price has been bought back. A little bit of the interim of today. Looking at the major indicators to determine directional bias, we have Minx inching closer and closer to giving us our continuation short signal and to push me out of the reversal long trade that I did take down here in the lows. Have not done that yet. I am officially back at break even on the BTC USD long that I had placed. Nothing has significantly changed with that. I am at risk of drawdown should price go south. Obviously, I don't need to tell you that. However, I have not gotten a clear objective signal to exit my trade, and I still like the reversal setup. Overall, price is simply meandering around, again, reminding me of a baby horse learning how to walk, which does not surprise me given the overall structure of what we are progressing through. Now, as I've made infinitely clear, I am overall bearish in this area of the market. The way that price has produced itself, the way that price has printed itself, to say more correctly, the way that the market has moved, I am overall bearish, and I've gone over macro features as to why. I talked about my bearish activity or my bearish analysis of the market, depending on how the weekly closed last week. And so I am looking for more continuation of this downtrend. And I think the most important thing that I can simply point out here, guys, is basic volume and market structure. I've talked about this many times. This is why I kind of scoff when people say that volume doesn't matter. It may not matter when you are looking at alt BTC pairs. I am open to that argument. It may be better for you to be looking at alt USD pairs. But again, when does volume come into a trend? Or excuse me, when does volume come into the market at the beginning of a trend? When does volume come into the market at the end of a trend? And when does volume come into the market at the beginning of the trend? Okay. Now, there are other possible interpretations of this. There are other possible interpretations of this, and there are possible examples of how this could go differently. For example, one, you could still see the market rally impressively off of this low and just consider this a massive stop loss hunt on high liquidity. And basically that's really what it is. There's no other way to define it. A massive grab for liquidity, triggering many stop losses and allowing liquidity to flow into the hands of fresh buyers in a consolidation pattern. Generally, that can happen. It happens less likely than just consistent trends being generated with Bitcoin's price based on strong volume. That's what we've noticed in the past. We haven't actually noticed too many of these stop loss hunts occurring on very high daily volume, I would say anyways. You can obviously notice these on lower time frames, and I think that theory absolutely applies. But when you go to the higher time frames and you look for overall where the structure is, well, overall structure is to the downside. That being said, again, Bitcoin and all assets do not move down in a directly straight line. There are going to be, I believe the term that I have heard lately and that I'm fairly okay with using is tradable bounces. There will be tradable bounces along the way down. Now, whether we are sitting in one right now remains to be seen. I have talked about the danger of interpreting these buy signals, which again, I am predicating my trade based off of. But again, we've talked about the difference between oversold and not oversold based on the level of volatility that you have just been in. When we look at the look back period of something like the Fisher Transform, this is actually my version of the Fisher Transform time transformation. It's a premium indicator that subscribers get. But if we look at its look back period or anything, the stochastic RSI any of these other meme indicators that people may or may not be using that has the ability to generate overbought and oversold signals, as many oscillators or centered oscillators can do. We have to understand that when we look at the period of which they have been looking back into to get their range, essentially, is a period of very low volatility and low market direction. So any high volatility movement out of that structure is naturally going to move your oscillator down a lot into oversold territory. That is not true oversold conditions. As I've said, typically the way that we see this play out is you'll end up getting a bounce and then another movement to the downside. And then you doesn't really mean that it's perfect at this point in time, but then you will get another oversold signal. Again, we always have to be careful of the oversampling of data when you have when you have few volatile movements and many non-volatile movements. A lot of these candles don't mean anything. And that can be the trick for analysis, is determining what data is relevant and what data is not. Okay, so therefore, almost all of my equity is still hedged to the downside. The only thing that I have long exposure to is the trades that I currently have on, and my long trade for Bitcoin. And to be quite honest with you, with the exception of the short hedge on Bitcoin at this point in time, all of my trades are long. All of my altcoin trades are long at this point in time. And those have been doing quite well. So again, I'm not going to be the guy calling the top or the bottom in any kind of market cycle. That's not what I do. That's not how I make money. I don't think that's really how many people make money. You can go to any other YouTube channel and find people calling tops and bottoms all day long if you like. You will only get objective analysis over here, my good friend. Now, moving to our indicators, as we said, Minx has not crossed under yet. You can see that there is still a gap, and you can see that the Minx line is at negative 41.37, and our noise line is at negative 42.44. Not a confirmed crossover at this point in time. We will wait to see if that does confirm on the daily candle close. If it does, I will be exiting my long position on BTC USD on ByBit, and I will be entering into a continuation short. Time transformation similarly is curling, threatening a crossover, but again, we are not there yet, with the Fisher at negative 0.02. However, our signal line at negative 0.12. So not a confirmed crossover yet at this point in time. Bearish momentum, very weak, indicative of consolidation, falling explosion level. So we haven't generated a strong directional trend. What is nice about this is that we have kind of reduced enough, we have waned enough out of this bearish movement that if we do now get a nice strong signal or a nice impulse candle in either direction, we will actually be able to get a rising explosion level and either an ascending or descending column, which is good for indicating trend. Parallax, which is going to be our long-term trend indicator, is still bearish, has not flipped to bullish, has been bearish actually since the 8th of September. And we do see that confirmed. Let's see here. Let's look at the several sorts. The one on the 15th, obviously. And then we did get that crossover right here. And then the other confirmed signal on the 20th, which is when we did end up taking the short as a group for this movement to the downside. And then ended up taking profit on this candle right here. Now, or excuse me, on this candle right here, when we did get the confirmed crossover buy signal from time transformation. That's really all there is to talk about on BTC USD from the daily perspective. Let's move down to the 4 hour. Again, 4 hour, we can see that overall the direction is to the downside. We are still holding that median range of around $8,000, $8,200. We've gotten a few wicks to the downside, and we are, again, concerningly, potentially, seeing progressively lower lows coming out of this, as well as lower highs continue to come in on this market cycle, which hasn't been broken yet. And overall, I would say that the movements to the upside seem to be fairly weak. You can really see the strength or the consistently coming from the selling pressure. Now, we have bottomed out here a little bit. We are rising very weakly off of this long wick to the downside that we did get last night around 11 o'clock p.m. my time. Of course, this is UTC -5 Chicago time. But again, the buyback being fairly weak at this point in time, selling pressure is still more dominant. Overall, short trades in this range have been more profitable. We just want to be pretty careful about taking trending trades inside this consolidation pattern. But again, when we look at overall what we're really looking at here, we do have a fairly clearly established range between 84.32 being the high and 79.17 being the low, measured on the 4 hour time frame looking at these candles. Therefore, anything above these prices doing reversal strategies would be a good sell. Anything below these prices would be a good buy so far, until we get a nice, strong breakout movement on high volume and high momentum. And having an indicator, as you can see here, like Wadatar Explosion, for the most part, keeps you out of almost all of the chop, which is quite nice. Now, granted, I don't think there's been very many profitable trades on the 4-hour time frame. Looking for confirmation. The 1 hour has, as I said yesterday, gotten you into some profitable trades. I would say that there has been overall, looking at trending indicators here, probably one profitable trade here to the downside, one profitable trade here to the upside. This is a little bit more chopped than profitable trade to the downside. And then, yes, right over here, this was a profitable trade to the downside. You could have gotten in about half of this movement right here. And if you would have held in, gotten a little bit more, but more than likely, you just ended up probably shorting right here and then getting out right here for a total of about 1 and 1.5% profit. As opposed to over here, you would have gotten about 4 or 5% profit. And then over here, you generally would have gotten anywhere from around 3 to 5% as well. So overall, there's been trades. There's been some good hourly trades using trending indicators. There's been some profitable trades using reversals as well in this range. And again, that range is holding tight with those levels that I talked about earlier. And until we, you know, it's annoying to say this, but until we see a clear break of those ranges on strong volume and strong momentum, then it's very difficult to determine a directional bias. That's why we must go to the daily time frame and use the knowledge that we've had trading the markets, as well as what our indicators are objectively saying, which is good. Now, what I will like, obviously, if we do end up getting this Minx crossover, then clearly I would have been wrong on taking the long trade. And it's not about being right. It's about listening to the indicators and allowing them to prevent you from losing a lot of money and allowing them to allow you to make money if you just consistently follow their application. So Bitcoin, fairly neutral on. We are not seeing a whole lot of activity and motion. Obviously, we do have to be aware because just as you get bored with Bitcoin, it tends to make a massive, massive move. And then you get all the channels coming on live and you've got people talking about it and you've got news stories coming out. And it's like, well, if you just would have been prepared and watching your indicators every day, even though you might have got thrown around a little bit, eventually you would have gotten into the right trade. Just as on a simple time frame basis, you would have been able to take this at least primary signal right here on the 22nd. However, since we were already looking for a continuation signal, we were able to take ours on the 20th. Not a huge difference in profitability, a couple extra percentiles thrown in there. So I digress. Overall, I don't really have a whole lot to say about Bitcoin today, besides what we've already been talking about for quite a while. Nothing really indicative coming through on the weekly and nothing really indicative coming through ever since, you know, obviously we talked about the monthly last time, very bearish coming in on the monthly, and of course bearish coming in on the weekly, closing below our baseline and generating our first bearish momentum candle on Wadatar Explosion for the first time. Of course, Parallax has been bearish on the weekly since back in the middle of August. Moving on from that, gentlemen and ladies, let's go to Ethereum. Let's go look over at Ethereum. Of course, we'll look at the BitMEX chart as we have been for a while. So Bitcoin on a little bit of a rise as Ethereum USD is once again outperforming Bitcoin to the dollar. Ethereum has been the better bet for your intraday trades. Oh, man. Sorry, just getting comfortable here, gentlemen. Overall, Ethereum, yes, has been the better intraday trading asset to be trading on. I have not done anything with Ethereum yet. Again, the only asset, and I say this with trepidation, the only asset that I genuinely like taking reversals on, unless we're in a very, very clear level of supply and demand and volume agrees, is going to be on Bitcoin. I don't really like taking reversal trades on other assets at this point in time, especially when it seems that we do have, from a higher time frame perspective, much more downside incoming potentially. Now, actually, I do want to backtrack from Ethereum here real quick and go back to Bitcoin, as I do want to talk about a little bit of the meme analysis coming in today. And this is going to be the death cross. So let's actually make sure I got this pulled up. Yeah, so let's go ahead and go on over and cover a little bit of news from bncrypto.com. This is death cross could mean impending doom for Bitcoin. So hold on, you guys know what that means. If the death cross comes, this is what will occur.
Tonight at 11.
Doom! Oh, yes, yes. And for the short sellers, of course, a lot of happiness and appreciation and good times and dancing. And is that dude just standing around? What are you doing, man? Anyways, moving around. Now, this is death cross could mean impending doom for Bitcoin. And we get a very brief explanation of moving averages as they are helpful in determining the direction of a trend in the price of Bitcoin. Furthermore, the relationship between short-term and long-term moving averages can often help you make trading decisions or help you predict the future direction of a price or asset. It says, well-known cryptocurrency enthusiast and analyst, Crypto Wilson. Now, I do not do disparaging callouts typically on the show unless you are a confirmed scammer or bad actor. So I've never heard of this Crypto Wilson. Now, he is saying that there is a possible death cross coming up on the daily charts, which, if it plays out, could result in another bear market and massive crash. He says it is crucial that Bitcoin breaks above the 200 period moving average for a continued bull market. I will keep you all updated. And here is his original tweet. You guys can obviously find links to everything that we talk about in the show notes, which you guys can access as well as the podcast at breakingbitcoin.money. Yes, that's a real link, breakingbitcoin.money. Yes, had to pay extra for that domain. Moving right along. Now, it says here, what is interesting is he did not specify the length of his short-term moving average. Now, typically, your death cross is going to be your 50-period moving average. And we do have some information here. Now, this article continues to flesh itself out by looking at the relationship between the 40-period moving average on the daily time frame and the 200-period moving average on the daily time frame. He goes back and he looks for historical examples of when these things have happened. March 30th, 2018. He says, this is the most recent time we had this death cross. And interestingly enough, right as soon as we had the cross, price rallied 50%. However, we did get a downtrend that lasted for almost 4 months, ending with a low of 3,215 on December 15th, 2018. Now, clearly, he is mistaken about his quotation of 4 months here. We did have a much longer bear market, although there was a lot of chop and consolidation between March and December of 2018, with the brief exception, I would say, from March to November. August 21st, 2014, going back quite a ways in history. This is when we had another bearish cross, and price immediately began a downtrend, reaching a low of $166.50 on January 2015. So again, very similar, beginning at the end of Q3, beginning of Q4, downtrend that ends in December, January, just as we saw 2018, 2019, the most recent example. April 8th, 2014, we got another one back then. And this is a similar example to the first, where price rallied immediately after this and made a bullish cross almost immediately after. A high was reached, resulting in a price increase of 53%. So it says there have been 3 bearish crosses between the 40 and 200-day moving average hitherto. Nice word. Price acted in a different way each time. And his takeaway is that the 200-day moving average was a better predictor of the direction of trend, since besides the 2 fakeouts after the 2018 cross, it did correctly indicate the direction of the trend. Now, my thoughts on this are, I've talked about death crosses before on this channel quite a bit, and the reality of daily death crosses, at least. The reality is, if you would have, on the daily time frame with the 50 and 100 period moving average, if you would have counter traded the death cross every single time, 80% of the time you would have made money. I have an analysis posted up on our TradingView. You can get to that at tv.crackingcryptocurrency.com and just look for my public post about death crosses. I think it's one of my more recent ones. But a golden cross, which would be a crossover of the 50 and 100 period simple moving average, is supposed to be a longable event and a herald of a bullish market, whereas a 50 and 100 simple moving average cross under is a bearish indication and indicative of a bearish market. Unfortunately, this has generally not been the case, nor is it often the case with highly volatile, nay, I say parabolic assets like Bitcoin. So I'm fairly indeterminate about this idea of the 40 period simple moving average and the 200 period simple moving average, although for the sake of demonstration, we will go ahead and pull them up. Here they are on the chart. You can also use this with the CC script, which is also available on that TradingView link. It is down in the description if you would like. Now, looking back upon historical examples, this is the 40 daily simple moving average and the 200 period simple moving average. This is the BTC chart. Now, we do have a crossover confirmed here on the 10th of May, 2019. 10th of May, 2019, which would have got you in for a good chunk of the bullish market, about half of it. And then if you would have exited If you would have exited when price did cross under and close below the 50-period moving average, that would have been, again, a better indication of the bullish trend rather than the crossover. Now, I quite like moving average crossovers, but I do agree overall, if you're looking for a quicker trading signal, for example, I'll give you guys a good opinion. When the 13 and 55 weekly exponential moving averages crossed, I said that we were in a bullish market, and we were, and I was right. But again, it's not about being right, it's about making money. Now, did I wait for the 13 and 55 weekly exponential moving averages to cross over? No, I did not. I was long since the end of March. Why? Because I have a system that I trade on the daily that told me to get into the long trade. And I just took it just as any other trade. And then what happens? Big pumps. That's what happens. So, it's just good to see, and it's a good indication of long-term trend. Now, obviously, we can see that the simple moving average crossover was correct in this instance. Let's go look at the previous example. And again, this is back in April 2018. So I want to make sure that I have these correct. Oh, you know what? I apologize. This is the 100 and 200 simple moving average. Oh, okay. So I did make slightly a mistake on this, guys. You are going to have to forgive me. That CC EMA script, I must have a default value, a minimum value for moving average 5 of 100, and it will not actually allow me to set it lower. So I'll tell you guys what. Take everything I just said, just roll that up in a ball, open up your rubbish bin, drop that in there, okay? Because it was garbage. Moving right along, we'll just put a moving average on here. We'll put 2 moving averages on here. We will put a 40-period moving average. And we will put a 200-period moving average. There we go. Neato petito. Okay, so let's give this some fresh eyes here. So we did get that crossover in April. So you would have missed the initial movement. Again, we did get long right in this area right here where a good trending indicator should have gotten you in. Of course, entering on, after April 1st would have been okay too. You would have gotten some price appreciation and pretty much this price just moved right up and along from there. It was a very clean bull market from April until June, to be quite honest with you guys, and honestly into July. But, and then again, exiting on the close under that 40-period moving average would have had you exiting. Let's be very concise about this. Yeah, we do close under right here. So you'd have exited on the 13th of July. So let's see if you would have followed that simple strategy. Let's see what you would have garnered. And on the 19th and out about 90% profit. Not bad. That is a good capture of the market. All right, let's go back and look at the bearish cross. Bearish cross occurred on the 29th of March. I'm just confirming that gentleman's work here. 29th of March, 29th of the 30th. So right around here. Right around here you would have gotten it. And yes, what did happen immediately after that? Price rallied 43%, almost 50%. Then it did get rejected from the 200 simple moving average, broke back down below. And again, breaking back down below, I think, was a better indication of the direction of the trend. Just as breaking back above here and breaking down below here and breaking above here was a bit of a fake out. And then obviously we enter into this woe begone, Lake woe begone period of consolidation where trend traders who did not have filters, there was much crying and gnashing of teeth and weeping, and reversal traders were like, not doing much better, to be quite honest with you. Nobody made a whole lot of money right here. And again, similarly, so it seems that he was honest in his accounting there of the previous examples. We do have a bullish movement here. We have a bearish cross under here, which did lead to a bit of a decline, but then an immediate rally. We have a crossover here, which literally would have bought the top, and price just absolutely fell off a cliff right there. So again, this seems to be another one of those examples where the moving average itself the moving average itself is a better indication of where trend or where price is going to go than waiting for the moving average crossover. Now, the moving average crossover is fine for confirmation, but as we can see here, it's typically once you get the moving average crossover, when price crosses below your slower moving, or excuse me, your quicker moving average in this case, you typically want to be exiting the trade and waiting waiting for your own kind of confirmation to enter into the opposite direction, or waiting for price to cross back above the moving average to enter long. Just beware that you might be, unfortunately, entering into a lot of chop when you do that, depending on overall market structure and kind of what happens, to be quite honest with you. That's why, again, filters are absolutely important. So what is the takeaway that I want you guys to take away from this? It's this. It's this. It's this line that you've seen me put on my chart, or it's this line that you've seen me more recently put on my chart as an indication of which direction you should be trading in. Because it's not the crossover that is often the best trading signal. The crossover is great for confirmation. Maybe you scale into a further position, maybe, right? Maybe that's when you go like, okay, cool, I feel like I've got a little bit left in this movement, so I'm gonna, apply some leverage here. I'm gonna apply some margin, and we're gonna take this up, but I'm not gonna think that this is gonna go up 90%. Like this is potentially nearing the end of the movement. But I think we've got some good runways left for some more movement in this. But again, waiting for the crossover is okay. Having a line that you can just trust to independently tell you which direction to trade in, even better. And for everything else, there's MasterCard. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys agree, or if you guys think that moving average crossovers are absolutely the best indication out there, and hearing me say that moving average crossovers are great, but you should come up with a better initiation signal has you like, you guys let me know. I'd be happy to talk about it. So moving right along, getting back over into the alt market, let's go check in with our crypto bubbles, and we can see that it is a fantastic day for altcoins. A beautiful day around the altcoins. SXP, I've never even heard of that, up 23.4%. For those of you guys who joined the BAT cult with me, buy BAT, it's up 13%. Of course, we know that the alt market and the alt mistresses are cruel mistresses because they give as quickly as they take as quickly as they give. Engine Coin up about 11.7%, 0x up about 8%, Kyber Network again pumping it up another 8%. So just good returns being generated across the board from our alt market. Steam up 4.7%. Now we did take Steam, and I'm sure Mana is on here somewhere. I know you're on here. I know. Hello. Where's the alt I'm looking for? I can't find it. But anyways, and Tether up 1%. Moving right along. So good day for the alt BTC pairs. I'm sure there's a lot of requests. Here's the thing, guys. Bullish trends are bullish trends, but you have to be careful with position sizing. Higher volatility equals lower position sizes because these markets take as quickly as they give, okay? So let's move right along with today, and let me pull up my schedule to make sure that I'm keeping on track. Let's go take a look at our majors, however. Ethereum, Bitcoin. Ethereum, Bitcoin obviously performing okay, but again, in this very awkward state right now with Ethereum, Bitcoin, all right? We did have a steep dive down. We've seen this actually. We've had this steep dive down below our significant level of demand on Ethereum, Bitcoin. We are now below that level, which again, if you have long-term faith in Ethereum, then as an investor, once you see something like that, you get absolutely excited. This is how I buy stocks. I look for stuff like this and things that I think are highly valuable. And as soon as I see us break, like basically the low, I buy like there's no tomorrow. Now, I don't approach cryptocurrency the same way for the most part. But again, I think that we're in some interesting places for our altcoins. And at Bitcoin, we can see that after breaking down below that level, we did form what is currently our current level of supply that we have been unable to get across. Of course, we have rejection here, 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 and here. So we are dealing with a fairly significant level of supply at this point in time. And I'm fairly ambivalent as to whether or not price will get back above it. However, logic would dictate breaking this level would a positive movement up here about 12% to about 0.024 sats at this point in time. And I think that the FUSD chart does verify that. However, if we look at how price is moving along with the ETH Bitcoin pair, which is the most liquid pair of Ethereum, not Ethereum USD, we do have falling volume in the structure, which is typically not a good move. Now, it doesn't really mean that we're going to reject from here. It just means that we have not seen that bullish breakthrough movement that we want to see. However, we are above the baseline. Let's look at what our indicators are telling us to do. Our indicators are not telling us to be taking a long trade at this point in time, which is good because they are lining up quite well with price being very near supply. Parallax is actually bearish at this point in time. We have gotten a little bit of flip-flopping from Parallax over the last few days. Obviously, I was in a short trade on Ethereum Z19 here, and then ended up exiting that trade actually at a loss. The price did come back down, so we've just kind of gotten this chop, and I haven't re-entered FZ19 at this point in time. So just waiting either for a clear rejection on volume, and then I'll take the trade back down to the baseline at this point in time, because this is, again, we are near a supply area, so these are the qualifications that I would be looking for a reversal trade, or again, on that nice breakout, would comply very nicely with what we just call a continuation trade in PTP. So I'll just be taking it to the upside. And although I'll be using ATR as my stop and target system, we do kind of have this interesting area that we can keep our eyes on, which is, again, that around 0.024, 0.025 area. LTC USD. Over on the Coinbase, LTC USD, again, coming down to a fairly significant level of demand. We have seen price come down to this level multiple times and put in some significant bounces. However, the last time that we came down after a long trend, we did end up breaking through and spent a long period of time underneath. I don't really want to get us back to talking about 2016 prices. Obviously, I think that we are in a fairly critical level. What would be your thought as an investor? Obviously, if price ends up breaking this level, then you would probably want to be buying this level all the way down to $22. Again, take that with a large grain of salt. However, I think the LTC BTC pair is a little bit more indicative of this, because if we do look at the LT, and again, so let's by the way, talk about this. If we get a nice strong bullish movement out of Litecoin USD at this point in time, again, we'd be in an area where I'd be interested to take a reversal. Nothing has happened yet. I don't see a trade on the table at this point in time. LTC BTC, on the other hand, again, I think I kind of look at this as a leading, excuse me, actually, let's go to LTC BTC on BitMEX. There we go. LTC BTC on BitMEX. Now, if we look at the entire breadth and history of LTC BTC, we can see that the level of price at which we're at, we've come down to this level. Ignore these massive scam wicks from the beginning of time back here in 2013. But every time we've come down to this price level, we have put in about 100% bounce, right? With one exception, and that was this moment in time right here. So unless you think that Litecoin is absolutely garbage and that we're going to see new lows, we are in a fairly interesting area. So any pretty significant reaction off of this level, I would be interested to take a reversal trade. I actually already started positioning into Litecoin BTC at this point in time, and we'll continue to buy it down to the levels that I've told the guys in the group as well. Slightly different trade, not a trend following PTP trade. Took an hour to get filled on mana on GDAX. Sorry to hear that, man. Fucking GDAX, bro. Let's see here. Dang it, Wendy, you made me lose my train of thought. Anyways, like LTC BTC, pretty interesting area what we're at. I'm definitely more bullish than bearish on LTC BTC, but again, the danger here is that we do end up, as we did back over here, breaking this level and end up descending into these lows, at which point you have to exit the position until, again, you see signs of a bottoming, which is high volume, really stupid long wick on the daily, or some similar structure. EOS USD, again, fairly ambivalent about the rest of the dollar pairs. Although they are interesting, we are below the baseline, and because we are below the baseline and because we haven't put in perfect signals yet, not really interested in taking reversal trades on the major dollar pairs, and that includes EOS and XRP USD. Although XRP USD, again, I hate saying this, I really do, because I don't fundamentally like XRP. But if we do look at the XRP BTC pair, we can see that we have come down to a pretty significant low. Now, I don't think that we are above the baseline, so there are trending trades to be taking on XRP BTC, of course, as well. But again, Although I don't think that XRP is fundamentally a good coin, and I would never buy it to buy and hold as an investor, I can see a swing trade here, buying the lows. We have breached. Now, what I really, the only thing that makes me a little bit more cautious about this is getting over some of these levels of resistance. But again, we are pretty much below the low. Once you get back above that, you kind of have to say that there's smooth sailing and that we have seen the bottom of the alt market for this point in time. So overall, I lean a little bit more bullish than bearish on this one at this point in time. But since I don't really give two hoots and a wink about XRP, and I don't think it's a good investment, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have good pumpology. So I'll just say that, BNB. Let's go take a look at BNB USD. Still pretty, I don't know why we're on the logarithmic chart. That doesn't make sense to me. Sorry about that. I must have been looking at something. BNB USD, I don't really see us turning around at this point in time. We are at what was previous resistance. I don't really see a supply and demand flip at this point in time. I would not be surprised to see lower prices on BNB at this point in time, especially with them struggling to set up Binance USA. Yeah, that's actually about all I have to say about BNB. It's in a very similar posture to a lot of other majors, and just not in a position where I think it's correct to be taking making action at this point in time. BNB BTC, and yes, that is a very long trend line. I'm sorry about it, guys. Don't come to my house and throw torches at me, for the love of God. BNB BTC, very similar. I don't really see us being in an overall important area on BNB BTC. I don't really see us at a significant level of demand. Therefore, I do have to assume that this bearish trend will continue. And again, looking at the overall alt market structure, I still would be of a mind to be taking altcoin trades. Again, I did take 3 new altcoin trades last night. There it is. There's Mana. Hey, baby. Got some of that nice good land over into Centraland. All right. Overall, it's still biased and think that things are good. But again, just want you guys to be careful, because all Bitcoin has to do is sneeze, and you're going to erase all those alt BTC gains. And you also want to make sure that you're actually making money, right? So if you're taking an alt BTC trade, unless your only goal is to accumulate more BTC, as a trader, I want to make sure that I'm making dollars. So one way you can verify that is, TradingView calculates your USD pair. Are you actually making money? Interestingly enough, mana to the dollar, I actually am. When I actually sell, and if I were to sell immediately into cash, I've actually made more than just looking at the alt BTC pair. Good stuff. Yet another reason not to be trading on MetaTrader. Moving to traditional markets here quickly before we take a look at Forex. Looking at the NQ breaking back above the baseline. As I said, guys, and this, it doesn't break my heart to talk about these levels of analysis. I don't think that they're actually absolutely the best, but again, very clear trend line being bounced off of on the NQ. All right, so the NASDAQ rallying pretty hard off of these lows, does not want to let this level go. Again, as I said, very bullish on equities, man, very bullish on equities. I think that we are going to break resistance. I think we're going to see all-time highs. And if we look at what we've got going on right now, although we don't have a fully trending signal, Wadatar explosion has not confirmed the movement to the upside. Parallax has not flipped bullish either. This would have been an area where I would have been slightly interested to take a reversal, although I think I was a little bit more ambivalent. It's a lot easier to say you were bearish or bullish on something that you're not actually trading at this point in time after the fact. So just being completely honest about that. And of course, everything else rallying strongly as well. The S&P, here's the Dow making the exact same movement because they're the exact same chart with different prices. And here's the Russell 1000 responding more sluggishly and more slowly. Does that mean that you should be longing the laggard? No, you should always be short the weakest sector, or excuse me, you should always be short, typically, the weakest sector of any asset and long the strongest. GLD coming into some resistance here at the daily baseline. Again, I think that GLD is and continues to be a good accumulation. Let's go to our Forex markets. Sorry, guys. Let's look at the Aussie Yen. Aussie Yen breaking above the baseline at this point in time right now. Wadatar is not confirming anything. In fact, we had a rising explosion level to the downside, so we won't be taking anything. Of course, let's check in with our Forex calendar and see what we got. Of course, today is the 4th, so this is going to be our last day to trade. Let's see what we got coming up on Monday. Daylight savings time tomorrow. Spring forward, fall back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, on the 7th, do we have anything coming in on Monday? Not a damn thing. Leading indicators for the yen, German factory orders, foreign currency reserves, Halifax, consumer credit. It's not really Shouldn't be too bad unless you're trading bank stocks. Yeah, actually, this is a little indicative, man. The only thing I see out of this is I might have a little discretion toward yen pairs. So the Aussie Yen, and that's good because we're not getting a strong signal here. Anyways, Aussie Kiwi, same thing. Reversal trade, potential reversal baseline bounce. I think the volume is there, actually. We do have some pretty decent volume on that relative to what we've seen. So a good little bit of volume right there, setting you up for a reversal trade on the Aussie Kiwi at this point in time to the upside. Not a trade I took. Aussie dollar. Again, didn't see the volume there for any kind of reversal trade. We would be looking for continued shorts potentially at the vicinity of the baseline around 0.67829. Canadian Swissy has just flipped bearish on Parallax, but it's been choppy a little bit here above the baseline, to be quite honest with you. Not trending very strongly in either direction. I would wait for either a break down below the baseline to be taking the short or good volume at least. I don't see the volume yet that I want to see. The CAD Yen. I'm going to put this on. This is on my watch list to watch for shorts. I did not end up taking this yesterday. Maybe I'll take this. I think I'll probably take this with half position size based on what's coming up on Monday. Swissy Yen. Didn't end up taking any action on the Swissy Yen, and I won't at this point in time. All right, Euro Aussie continues to slide a little bit down on me on that particular trade. Let's see, Euro CAD up at resistance at the baseline. Euro Swissy. Let's see here. Nothing to do right now on the Euro Swissy. Euro Kiwi, similar position right here. My Euro Aussie and Euro Kiwi trades not doing too well for me actually at this point in time. Euro Pound up at the baseline. Euro Yen. Ooh, first good oversold signal. So I am going to actually wait for a bounce on the Euro Yen to reshort it. I didn't end up taking action on it. Euro Dollar. Trend flipping, but below the baseline. So I'll wait on that one. Pound Kiwi. Ooh, I'm going to wait to short that one right there. Pound CAD, no action to take. Pound Swissy, no action to take. Pound Yen, no action to take. But actually, I'd be biased to take a reversal on the Pound Yen off the baseline right here. Yeah, I might do that. That rounds out my trades pretty well, actually. I feel similarly about the Pound Canadian, but I'm going to pause. And the Pound Yen, very similar. I feel like the Pound Kiwi, but I will pass as well. Kiwi Dollar is in a no trade position. Kiwi CAD was a good long. Kiwi Swissy was also a decent long. I still stand by that. Kiwi Yen, I'm actually not in this trade anymore. I did end up going short here. I took my profit. Dollar Canadian. Waiting for a pullback on the Dollar Canadian. And Pound Aussie. I don't see the volume to take a reversal. And Dollar Swissy. So all three of my open trades are actually in drawdown right now, which is a first actually since I've been trading Forex. But it's okay. These things happen. We'll check back in on them tomorrow. A Dollar Yen. Nothing. And Aussie CAD actually looks pretty strong. So we will put that on the watch list. So those are going to be the trades that I'm thinking about taking tonight. Aussie CAD. Waiting on the Euro Yen. Potentially the Kiwi CAD. Not the Kiwi Swissy. And the Pound Kiwi. Aussie Swissy. No. And the Dollar Yuan. Actually, I'm probably going to take the Dollar Yuan short as well. Kind of been waiting on that. Nice sluggish movement, failure to achieve. I quite like it. No, CAD Yen. All right. Let's engage with the chat here a little bit, guys. I just realized I don't have any water. You guys know how bad that is, but you know, I've been slurping down that water pretty hardcore lately, so maybe it's an okay thing. Any thoughts on backed playing this market? No, not really, man. Unless there's some specific allegations of back manipulating the markets. As I've said many, many times, man, with the exception of potentially Bitfinex and Tether, who have a direct incentive to manipulate the markets and the ability to as well, exchanges typically just worry about making money, man. It's hard says, tips for you at Justin. Press Shift S from your keyboard. You can directly access the sell window, useful for your Forex trading. Yeah, so what I do, mate, is I just go to, if I'm on a Forex pair, I just right click the chart and click trade. And I just go to create new order is what I do. And you can see I'm linked up to a Wanda. And if I want to sell market, and I'll do that. If I want to set my stop loss, that's typically what I do. But Shift S. Ooh, that's pretty neat. Shift B. I kind of like it, man. Thank you. Ethereum Core Devs meeting number 72 is today. On the docket. All right, guys. What color do we want the rainbows to be for the new postcards? Oh, to be a fly on the wall. Really want to know what color they're going to make the unicorns. What do I think of KBC coin backed by gold? Is it a good buy? Absolutely not. Sounds like a scam to me. To be quite honest with you, I want to make sure that I want to make sure that this is the right thing. KBC coin. Yeah, this is it. I think this is it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. Yeah, they got the phone and the blah and the digital. Yeah. Yeah, these guys have emailed me like a whole bunch asking me to shill them, man. So that's a huge warning sign to me. Real projects typically don't do that. So again, I mean, thing can pump 5,000%. I'm just saying, don't think you're going to buy and hold that. I don't think it's valuable, but that's just my opinion. That's about as much research as I've done into it. They just rubbed me the wrong way. I remember that this was probably a couple months ago. I reviewed, you know, the marketing information that they had shared with me, and they just really rubbed me the wrong way, man. Sorry. Digital land? No way that's useful. You just wait, man, until we're Ghost in the Shell plugging into chat rooms, dude. Fed chairman talking at 1 o'clock. Yes, sir. Jonathan W. says, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I am new here. I shouldn't make my trades on Coinbase, right? That's your preference, man. Coinbase, you know, I have traders that are in the group that trade on Coinbase Pro. You know, for example, Wendy Brown, I traded Mana BTC on GDAX last night, Coinbase Pro. Typically, I'm going to recommend that you find a better exchange. But again, it depends. If you just want to trade some Bitcoin, good exchange. Generally, the exchanges that I recommend for traders are going to be ByBit, link down in the description. There's Binance. Sorry, but link down in the description. Bittrex is also a good exchange as well. Kraken. Don't have a link for Kraken, but it depends on kind of where you're at too as well. If you're, I typically offer those, well, not offer, but recommend those for Americans because that's what we got, man, you know. What do I think about Zcash? As far as, you know, I would like to be really, really bullish on Zcash. I mean, I remember back in the day, you know, a lot of friends of mine have made a lot of money mining Zcash. To be honest, this looks pretty rough. I wouldn't be surprised if, along with a lot of the altcoins, we did get a fairly substantial bounce out of this, you know, if we end up having a good lead. It's a pretty high sat coin. But I'm going to put Zcash with Dash, man. Like, I don't think that they have a good sustainable token economic model as to why the coin is valuable to hold. I think that Dash and Zcash have both been really good for miners, but it doesn't make sense to me. Again, and I'm willing to be wrong, but you need to explain to me why their token economics make sense. Why do I want to hoard or hold Zcash or Zcoin? Why do I want to hold or hodl Dash? Besides being able to make money from mining or staking, right? There has to be better token economics than, well, if you just hold on to it and other people buy it, you'll make money. You'll make money staking. Eli back, man. He says, what's going on, man? Is Monacoin BTC a scam? Thank you so much for the $5, my good friend. Monacoin, is it a scam? I don't know. Let me look at the chart and I'll tell you if it's a scam or not. Let's look. I mean, if that's a scam, man, it's a scam with some good pump, with some good pumpamentals, dude. That's all I'm going to say, dude. Monacoin, I'm not going to lie, dude, similar to Litecoin. And this is something that I look at, if you zoom out and you're like, hey, man, seems like every time we come down to around this price, we seem to rally off this price about, 9 bajillion percentiles. And I think, it's kind of silly if you don't pay attention to that. That's 1,000% rally right there. That is a 1,555% rally right there. In fact, Monacoin just put in a 400% rally. Now is it on its way down? I mean, we have dropped back down below this level before, right over here. At the very beginning of the January 2017 market, and then started pumping up and up and up and up and up. I don't really know enough about, honestly, I guess I'm just not that educated on Monacoin, man. I really don't know too much. Let's go do some research. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. So let's do this when we come back. How about that, guys? But thank you so much for the donation, man. We'll take a look at this a little bit more when we come back. But honestly, I don't have the answer to that question. I can do some research and give you my idea based off what I read online, but I haven't really peered too much into Monacoin. I don't really know too much about it. I don't think that... I really couldn't tell you, man, to be quite honest with you. And so I'm not going to pretend that I know information that I don't. But it's got great... I hate to say this, but it's got good pumpamentals, man. And you can tell it's like you can tell it's alt season or almost about to be over alt season when I'm using the words pumpamentals. When like for the majority of the last 2 years I've been like, yeah, fuck altcoins. Anyways, guys, let's have a brief word from our sponsors, guys. Listen, if you guys want to support the channel, or if you guys are looking for your own exchange to trade on, you guys should head over to ByBit. There is a link down in the description below. I made the switch to ByBit myself. I used to trade on BitMEX the majority of my capital. I have since switched over to ByBit, although I do still trade on BitMEX, of course, but I do trade the majority of my leveraged trades on BTC, EOS, Ethereum, and XRP over on ByBit. The reason why is because they just have a better platform. Talked about it a million times before, guys, but customer service. I have not yet found one crypto exchange, and I say this because I mean it, besides ByBit, that actually offers good customer service, that will offer refunds if they make a mistake, that are there to actually explain to you why the hell something happened, and that do not outsource their customer service to some third-party, non-native English-speaking system. Curse you, Kraken! Anyways, guys, link down in the description below, or you can go to bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com. We'll be right back, guys. Let me know if you guys got any questions in the chat while I'm gone. We'll be back in about 3 to 4 minutes while we prep for the next wave of alt pumps over here at the studio. All right, guys, be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I wanted to answer this question from Chowdhury, and he asks, which privacy coin, PivX, Monero, Dash, Zcash is best for investing based on fundamentals technicals roadmap? So I actually don't think that privacy coins have very strong token economics. And that might be an unpopular opinion, but that is just my opinion. You have to explain to me why holding the token would cause price appreciation. That is the definition of token economics, in my opinion. And when we're looking at altcoins, it doesn't mean that they can't. Doesn't mean that they can't appreciate in price or that they're not tradable assets. But if you're asking me, you know, what do I think is? You specifically asked what is the best investment. I don't invest in privacy coins. I'm not saying I can't see the use case or I don't see the point or I don't get them. Just don't think they have good token economics. And again, I'm happy to be wrong on this, but I have not heard somebody correct me. Blockchain gains. Roll that beautiful bean. Roll that beautiful bean footage. All right. Brilliant strategy there, Gabriel. Hopefully you're doing really well today, man. Did I have a look at H-bar so far? A little bit. Not as much as I'd like to have a strong opinion about it. I will be seeing them at, they are going to be presenting at San Francisco Blockchain Week, which I will be attending with the rest of the team. So if you guys want to come meet us in person, make sure to head on down to the San Francisco Blockchain Week at UC Berkeley and the Marriott Marquis in downtown San Francisco. High noon here in Montana. What do I think about crypto payment coins such as PundiX and Graph, despite their bearish trends? You know, I actually think that NPXS has a pretty decent token economic model and a pretty good use case, but unfortunately, it has not done one bullish thing since it launched. It's ultimate scam coin, dude. Anyways, so we've got a lot to talk about, guys. A lot of news coming in today that I do want to give you guys my somewhat fragile opinion on. So things that caught my eye. Let's flip on over to the news. Boom. And here we are in the news scene, ladies and gentlemen. And the first thing that I want to talk about today is Mr. Let's find it here. Here we go. Mr. Cook. How we doing there, man? Like you. It's not quite a turtleneck, man, but almost Steve Jobs-ing it up. You know what I mean? So, Tim Cook, who's the CEO of Apple, he was speaking to a French financial newspaper, Les Echos. I don't know how you say echoes in French. Echois, maybe? Les Echos. So Apple CEO Tim Cook, in this interview, he quashed pretty much any speculation that Apple as a company is going to introduce its own cryptocurrency. He was asked directly if Apple plans to follow Facebook's lead and venture into the world of cryptocurrencies. And Cook flat out said no. He said he deeply believes that money must remain in the hands of states. At which point every ANCAP went, come on, man. Read some Murray Rothbard. He then went on to voice concern over the idea of private companies entering the currency space, saying, and I quote, I'm not comfortable with the idea that a private group can create a competing currency. A private company should not seek to gain power in this way. Money, like defense, must remain in the hands of the nation state as it is at the heart of their mission. We elect our representatives to assume government responsibilities. Companies are not elected, and they do not have to tread this ground. At which case he said, sorry, I have to reposition because the hand of the government is so far up, I'm moving right along. Cook was also asked about Apple's plans to launch their supposedly launch their Apple Pay card in France. So, building kind of off the success of, the Apple Pay card that they had already launched, they did recently reveal their idea to push into the US credit card market with the announcement of the Apple Card, which is a credit card-like product which tightly integrates into their wallet app. Now, while extending into financial services with this type of innovation is part of their business model, of part of their greater company plan, Cook did clarify that they do not have any intention of becoming a banking institution. So, he's like, nah, man, we're not going to launch our own cryptocurrency because we don't want to compete with the state. And no, we're not trying to be a bank, but if we can make money with this like credit card thing, yeah, that's totally cool, man. Now, there is a slight difference here, a little bit of nuance to discuss, and that is that the Apple Card does rely on local banking partners in the United States. In the case of the U.S. domestic market, they have gone with Goldman Sachs. They've tapped them to provide the liquidity and to be the processor. And Cook indicated that because he was asked, well, are you guys going to launch the Apple Card in France? He said, well, that would require a local retail bank in France, which is, quote, particularly agile. So something like a bank that comes like a bank that likes watching Naruto, maybe. Now, what's kind of paradoxical about this is that Cook said, quote, the world does not need a new credit card. But then he just kind of went on and ruined that by mumbling some platitudes about how the world does, however, need to rethink the credit card. So we don't want to be a bank. You guys don't need to change anything, but we should totally rethink how we do things right now. And you guys should totally buy our product. Now, even though Apple has launched the CryptoKit toolset for developers, and they did add the Bitcoin emoji to their character list, to be honest, they've been fairly disapproving or disinterested in cryptocurrency as in whole. And this kind of does cement their idea. And I think this is further highlighted by the fact that users of Apple Pay or the Apple Card, they're not allowed to actually buy Bitcoin with it, just which almost feels like a Stone Age thing, right? Like that was, what is this, 2014? with JP Morgan and other big banks saying, no, you can't buy Bitcoin with our credit cards. This is kind of ridiculous, man. So now, as Scott pointed out this morning, he says it doesn't really surprise him that Apple isn't really that into crypto, or that they're not really that supportive of crypto. They're a little less, I think in this case, they're a little less, yeah, man, we'll get money wherever we can get it. Very similar to Facebook. Apple is a very different company. And, his thoughts were, well, of course, Apple is not into cryptocurrency. I mean, look at the entire business model of Apple. No free development, not open sourced. You can only get your apps from the App Store. We control everything. That's the only place where you can download your applications for your phone or for your tablet. And we lock and control everything. And you have to be sanctioned by us. And it is official. And we just run everything. This is Apple. We don't do things willy-nilly like those kids over at Android. This is Apple, goddammit. So take that as you will, guys. In some positive news, I don't know, you guys take this how you will. So is there honor among thieves? I would argue that no, not really. So recently, the Ethereum naming service has been auctioning off .eth domain names to the highest bidder, and a hacker managed to find an exploit in the auction system. So since September 1st, the digital collectibles marketplace OpenSea, they've been having an Ethereum domain auction. As I said, where .eth domains are being auctioned to the highest bidder. Now, the little bit of difference between these regular domains as opposed to the difference between these .eth domains as opposed to regular domains is that they cannot be forcibly retrieved once they're allocated because they are on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, this hacker was able to find an exploit in the software distributing the domains to participants, and basically was able to get top-level domains like apple.eth, defi.eth, wallet.eth, without actually being the highest bidder. Now, the auction had other issues as well. Domains like bitmex.eth and hodls.eth had bids that were incorrectly processed, but those weren't actually affected with this hacker's exploit of this vulnerability. Now, the original idea here that I heard when I read this was that he had voluntarily returned them, right? And I was like, oh, that's amazing. This is like an honor among thieves thing. And this is because, OpenSeas put out pretty much a public plea on their Twitter, and they said, please return them. And then when I dug a little further into this, I actually saw that they actually offered the attacker a reward of 25% of the final auction price, as well as the original bid, which apparently satisfied the thief. So, he did voluntarily return the domains and is eagerly awaiting his prize. Hopefully he wrote a smart contract for that. Now, potentially the bigger story of the day is from the Federal Reserve Bank. And we've been talking about digitizing the dollar over the last few days. And, it's been interesting to hear your guys' opinions on this, on whether this is a good thing or whether this is a bad thing. And, Reuters was on the scene reporting in Philadelphia, and they talked to the bank president of the Philadelphia Federal Reserve Bank. His name is Patrick Harker. And they caught him making comments about digital currency adoption by central banks. So Harker called the digitization of fiat currency, of central bank issued currencies, inevitable. But he also said that he doesn't think the United States should be too early of an adopter of this technology. He wants things to move smoothly. He said, quote, frankly, I don't think we should be the first mover as a nation to do this, but given our role as a global reserve currency, it is inevitable. I think it is better for us to start getting our hands around it now. Now, these comments were made in response to a question about the Fed's decision to develop its own real-time payment system called the Fed Now service. Harker responding with, quote, I am looking at the next 5 years after that. What comes next? I do think it is something around digital currency. Now, as we know, the Fed and other central banks around the world are currently debating and figuring out how best to approach the rise of privately issued cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and examining how the underlying blockchain technology might change traditional banking structure. Of course, they're doing a little bit more than that because not only have they been investigating this for like the last 10 years, they've also, over the last 5 years, been implementing these systems into what they do. Sanjay, thanks so much for the sub over there on YouTube, my friend. And as I said, I think that the difference in tone over the last few years. Really over the last year. The reason we've seen this kind of dialed up, Oli Bowl, thanks so much for the sub over there as well, my friend. The reason why we've seen this dialed up over the last year is in response to Libra. It is my firm opinion that central banks around the world are not as threatened by Bitcoin as hodlers would believe. They think that they've got Bitcoin in the bag. I laid out my tinfoil hat theory about that yesterday in quite a lot of depth. What they are concerned about is private corporate issued stablecoins like Facebook's Libra. They are absolutely terrified of that. They do feel that that is a more immediate threat to their power, into their monopoly over finance and money. And so you are seeing them very rapidly change their pace. But who do we have to think about? Who do we have to thank for this initially or originally? Well, let us all bow our heads in prayer to ye old Satoshi Nakamoto, he of the great ideas. Now, Harker did acknowledge his views put him, quote, in the minority at the Fed right now, but he has commissioned his staff to begin research on the issue all the same. And he said he is organizing a small research conference for academics to be held early next year to discuss the topic, making him on my email chain of people I would like to interview. Now, while the general mood of Federal Reserve bankers is skeptical toward cryptocurrencies, publicly at least, concerning whether private and decentralized ones could ever behave enough like true currencies to qualify for regulation or for them to threaten traditional central banks' ability to conduct monetary policy. Now, New York Fed Chair Jerome Powell did say in June, quote, we're a long way away from that, describing the technology of cryptocurrency as in its infancy. Now, other Fed officials have been quoted as saying that the benefits of a central bank issued digital currency were, quote, not obvious, which I think is a pretty much just bald-faced lie. The concern is now that globally, other central banks and institutions, as well as private consortiums, in the case of Libra, will embrace a sort of financial revolution on the back of this technological innovation, with even the Bank for International Settlements having acknowledged the spread of central bank digital currencies as the coming trend in the new economic system. So I think it's pretty clear that we are going to be talking about digitizing the dollar. We're going to be moving away from fiat currency. This obviously opens up implications for privacy. And this is why I think moving forward, we'll also be talking about privacy concerns, because eliminating paper fiat does make everything traceable. And unless you're using a pseudo-anonymous currency, such as Bitcoin, where you can to some degree mask your identity, then you're going to be having a central authority issued token that is going to be able to monitor all of your transactions, and the privacy implications for that are quite severe. As Edward Snowden did say, unfortunately, we are moving into an era of human life where privacy is no longer the default option for human existence. It is now something that one has to strive for, and in some cases, impossible to achieve for some. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments section or in the live chat. I'd be happy to respond to you as best as I can. Back into the live scene, guys. And checking back in with Bitcoin as I get a little bit more comfortable in the old chair here. In Sitoshi, as she is named. Ben Shapiro. Excuse me. Need a bank with Kakashi Sensei leading the charge. Thank you so much, Blockchain Gains. Highly appreciated, my friend. That is why Monero is going to go to the moon in 5 to 10 years. You know, it's a possibility, man. Again, I still kind of maintain my idea that I don't see the token economics of Monero, because I think that that can just be built into Bitcoin. In fact, the Lightning Network already offers that. I mean, it's not perfect, but What phone do I use? Team Android, man. Say it, Ben Shapiro. Also, please, Neo BTC. Of course, man. Anything for you. Thank you so much, Wally, for your very, very, very generous contribution. The one, the man, the myth, the legend. Shout out to you and Gunbot University, my friend. All right. Neo BTC. Again, we haven't done a whole lot here, man. You know, we talked about this level. We talked about this accumulation area. We talked about this cumulative behavior on Neo BTC. And yes, I have a bag of Neo. I am not going to lie. Now let's go see if we can get a little bit more data on Bittrex. Yes. All right. So coming back to Bittrex, we have the same level plotted out on Bittrex, and just really haven't broken out of it, man. I don't even really want to consider previous levels over here at this point in time. Maybe we can establish, we talked about this as well, you know, closing 2 consecutive daily candles below this level would be fairly negative because, again, you know, if we really want to talk about ATLs, I mean, we do have another 75, 78% down to go. Who wants to sit for that? But, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stabs down into this rough area of price and some pretty significant rallies. And again, you know, we can see some excitement coming in for the altcoins. The alt markets are performing quite well. Of course, this could all be smashed away from Bitcoin making a sneeze. But I don't see anything in here that changes my prospectus on Neo at this point in time. We've got a range between, you know, 83,000 sats and 96,000 sats that I'd be interested in accumulating in. I would probably end up letting go if we close 2 consecutive dailies below that level at, you know, God forbid 66,000, but that is a potentiality. Yeah. I really haven't changed my opinion on Neo here. Kind of a make or break zone, man. And again, not a whole lot of strong technicals here for Neo. And in fact, if we just look at the technicals today, looking for a PTP trade, our last PTP trade would have been here. Actually, sorry, here. PTP trade would have been here on the 15th of September. Would have taken that trade to the upside, had 2 nice bullish candles of appreciation. And that's pretty much it, man. Parallax is even bearish. And of course, we go to something like the weekly. You're darn right, Parallax is bearish. No divergence on the weekly time frame. Weekly buy signal. We've had 1, 2, 3. This will be our 4th weekly buy signal. 2 were bad. 3 was okay. Let's hope the 4th one's better. We do have a rising explosion level as of last week on Neo. Green columns. Parallax obviously hasn't flipped yet. But I would keep my eye on the weekly time frame for Neo, as I typically do with coins that I'm invested in for a longer hold. Love the detailed analysis, even when the rightmost wicks hide behind my chair. Sorry about that, my friend. The chair. Bench Apiro. I'm not too concerned, Kendi. I'm looking particularly healthy today. Good. Thank you, my friend. I'm not too particularly concerned about Google's quantum computer. Well, I would say that the only thing that we're supposed to trust these, I think that the only thing that we are supposed to trust these tech companies to do is to make our lives more convenient, not to make it more private. K7 Jixer, what's up, man? I'm guessing the new digital Fed coin wouldn't have an auditable chain. Of course not, man. One would not be so lucky. I wonder if and when the Fed cuts to negative interest rates like everyone else to compete, it'll trigger a slide. Potentially. Because the ability to do okay, so the ability to do something in a lab and the ability to actually pose a threat to the blockchain are two different things. So Google claims they've been able to do something in a lab. That doesn't change the fundamental nature of quantum technology, that it is very difficult to keep a quantum system running and running a consistent program or line of commands at operating state without running into decoherence. They still haven't solved that. Yep. What's up, Henry? How you doing, man? Okay. There's got to be something for us to do here, guys. I really love what you've written here, Scott. I think this would be a good opportunity to mention it again. So, yeah, guys, we are going to be heading to Blockchain Week in San Francisco. So if you guys are interested in an IRL crypto meetup with the team, I'll be there. Scott, the master behind the production, he will be attending. And our master of coding disaster, Mr. Ben, will also be coming along. So if you guys want to come out and meet, chat some crypto shop, have a good time. It's going to be fun, guys. We'll be there. We're going to be recording. We're going to have a lot of recording set up. We're going to be doing interviews and live shows from October 28th to November 2nd. So give you a song? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Let's do options, preferences, configure, apply, okay, close. Stream till I pass out. Oh, you said turn the tunes up a little bit, bro? Okay. Scott, when did you turn into the old grandpa, man? Thank you, Yasha. Highly appreciate it, man. Let's go look at the rest of the alt market. That's what we'll probably do. And we'll start getting set up for today's trades. Not at all, Kendi. Turn Bitcoin up a little bit. Yeah, let me turn the dial up on the Pumponomics. All right, Dash. No opinion. No volume. Litecoin performing okay. Bitcoin Gold, I wouldn't touch. Zcash, not really touching. Decred, not really touching. Rep, not really touching at this point in time, honestly. Neo, go for Neo. Zen, I got nothing. BNB is generally a good performer, but it's just in a bearish trend right now, so. DGD. DGD is all right, but we're just not there yet for a trade. And same for Monero, although that might be changing. Let's see where we're at in relation to the baseline. Yeah, we're not really there on Monero yet either. Large sats are kind of not very interesting right now, except for Ethereum, which probably means not good things. Now, low sats and mid sats are where it's at lately, guys. Singularity, A and B continuing to do good things. APPC continuing to do good things. Yeah, I mean, just the entire alt market is pretty much up. What program am I using for charts? This is TradingView, man. This is Shot Away by SIINE, like sine wave with 2 eyes. Oh, this is Crypto Bubbles. CryptoBubbles.net. In fact, I haven't heard from you guys in a while. All right, I guess I've noticed an outlier here. Overall, it's been a rough month for altcoins. It's been a pretty good year for a few altcoins. But overall, pretty good week. Pretty good day. And we continue to get some nice appreciation right now. Will there be separate Binance charts for .us? Yes. You are welcome, Ken D. Much appreciated, my friend. Cutem. See if we can develop a prospectus. Well, that's not really fantastic. Yeah, I mean, we've only tested this level of demand once back in December of 2018, and we did get a good reaction off of it. About 155% movement off Cutem USD. I think that, on a higher structure, this is a bearish asset, but this is some pretty long-term accumulation behavior. Doesn't mean anything. Just like I was talking about Dash with my friend last night. He's like, man, Dash looks like it's accumulating. I'm like, they can have them. Doesn't mean, just because you see accumulation doesn't mean something's going to pump. This doesn't really look fantastic, and there's no trade on the table right now on the daily time frame. In fact, no, this probably does continue on for maybe a day or two. It just depends on if the market switches. But Parallax is obviously quite bearish. Wadatar explosion is printing columns below the explosion level. Your explosion level is starting to fall. Minx is above the noise line, but you're in reversal territory. And again, if you feel that this is a good reversal trade based off the fact that we did just tap a demand zone, then you got to go with your gut on that one, man. I prefer trading the trends on most of these pairs anyways, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Demand zone, we did tap it. We are getting some price appreciation off of it. Let's see what happened the last time we came in here. Pretty much the same structure. And then that really confirmed again on the big breakout candle to the upside, or some nice volume coming into the upside, which we don't believe we've seen yet. Yeah, we haven't really seen a big buying volume pressure come in, and you kind of want to see that. Drew Snyder, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube, my friend. Have I watched Joker yet? No, not yet. Are there separate charts for .jersey? Yeah, I don't know, man. Hydro or Holo, E of the Pumponomics. Here's the thing about Hydro. Yes, again, same kind of concept, man. Came back down to a level of demand. We held it. What was the delineating factor here? Obviously the resistance that we broke above. So typically this is, if you have ideas, if you think that holochain is good for the long run, and again, I know a lot of people who made money off this. I also know a lot of people who unfortunately lost a lot of money off of this. Then yeah, this is an area where you'd be interested to buy. I would prefer to see some confirmation of this bullishness by seeing a break above 10 sats, obviously, in this period. And you need to use very small position sizes with these things because you don't actually need to put a large amount of money in if this thing does move, and that way you can also significantly reduce your risk. Not advising you to do anything like that whatsoever. Obviously, everything trending-wise is very bearish right here. We don't have anything that has given us a bullish signal as a trend trader or even to justify a reversal. Haven't really seen any significant volume come in either. You'd have to really zoom in to see significant amounts of volume that you'd kind of want to see on a zoomed out version such as like this. And with such a low price, with large buys, you should be seeing large volume looking at the BTC pair. But here's the other reality too. We've also seen low sat coins just stay in this purgatory forever, man. Just stay in this purgatory forever and just kind of zombie trade. So we'll see. We'll see. See if we can get some bullish appreciation and a nice volume spike above 10 sats as it sits right now. I'm not aware of any fundamentals on Hydro that would make me think of it, or excuse me, Holochain, that would make me think anything else. Is there an indicator that suggests you when to put in long or shorts? Well, yeah. That's literally everything we do, man. Yeah, we can look at equity, man. General Motors. Let's check out your Robinhood, bro. We've got some fundamentals with General Motors, with the strike and everything going on. Typically, equity does tend to respond fairly well to classical analysis. Okay, so let's look at it. Be close to your body, close to your body, close to your body. Oh, I just wanna be close to your body. Give me some sugar, honey, close to your body. Oh, I just wanna be. What's your downside exposure here? 12%. You're pretty much talking about a return to the median. Well, I think that the risk here is about 12% drawdown back to about the median of the range. Of course, you're talking about anywhere from 15 to 20% more drawdown after that. But every time General Motors has come down to this level since 2018, it's given a nice little pump. The only thing that's different right now is we were having higher highs and now we're having higher lows. So I think we probably do get a bounce right here, but if we put in a higher low below $40, I would be a little worried, my friend. Now, I don't own General Motors stock. I don't have a lot of exposure to the auto industry in America. So based on that, I don't find it valuable. It's not part of my portfolio, but as you guys know, when it comes to investing and it comes to equity and it comes to stocks, domestic stocks particularly, I buy and hold forever. So General Motors is not one of those. So just in the realm of trading, I'd either look to trade the trend because you do get very, very clear delineated trends around here. So I'd be less akin to taking the reversal trade, although we are in that bounce spot. Obviously, in the realm of reversal trading, Paralox is bearish on the daily time frame. We have nothing to indicate that we would want to be long. We would have been short since around here, captured this movement. We would have captured this little bit of long right here. Time transformation tells us to get out here. Yeah, you have nothing here that's telling you to go long, obviously, because we're not in a bullish trend. We are potentially coming off the tails of a bearish trend. Jose Canetta, what's going on, my dude? Did I go to the beach? No, I had to turn the saturation up to turn the lighting down in my office, in my studio here. So I don't know how to get around looking red. I actually look the same as I've always looked. See, I don't think that significantly helps. Maybe that significantly helps. I don't know. You guys let me know. Is that better or worse? What indicator is it that suggests long or short? I haven't found it yet. So, pretty much any indicator that gives you arrows like this is going to tell you the direction, long or short. And then we use other indicators to find confirmation. For example, green typically means bullish, red typically means short. And then the position of our Minx line above our noise line is another indication. And then also our relationship above or below our baseline, which we do not use in assets. Or excuse me, which we do not use in stocks. Or how Data got his color back. Crack some glow sticks too, man. Turn your contrast down. It'll take some of the saturation away and lighten the room. Yellow gel filter. All right, let's try that then. About as low as I can take the contrast down. Yeah, it's about as low as I can take the contrast down, man. Hoping to cash in after the strict news, I think, or after the strike news. I think that would be a good pump for GM while I'm in it right now. What else, man? What else do you got on your Robinhood watch list, brother? Uber, Ford, and JC Penney's. Let's look at JC. J. C. Now if it just comes down here, forms that P, Illuminati confirmed. Well, Justin, the lighting change did you well, I guess. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. JC Penney's, like most brick and mortar stores, has been falling off a cliff because Amazon. Can I just say that popo ain't around? Yeah. No fundamentals, bro. On the track now, running like I'm bold. Ain't no going back now. Ford, same thing, man. Trash. It's just not a good hold, man. Don't have a lot of exposure to the automotive industry for a reason. You know, I'm not gonna lie, Ford's pretty gosh darn cheap, dude, and it's probably not gonna go away anytime soon. So this is a pretty good price for Ford, I'm not gonna lie. It's come down a lot, and we're at, I mean, the median of its price discovery. I would probably be okay with dollar cost averaging between $8.90 and $7.40. Yeah, that's not a bad little zone, I think. Or we can wait for some bullish price appreciation. we already kind of rallied off of these lows, and we're back into them. Yeah, we basically just came back down to obviously not the cheapest price we get on Ford, but you know, descending into these levels is like not even recession territory. Yeah, I don't know if it's Ford or not, Ken. But I mean, yeah, I mean the auto market is just I don't see the fundamentals there right now. Not for like holding a good diverse portfolio, anyways. 3M on the other hand. About this time last year.
Driving around in my car, looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money, but I'll work it out with my charm.
It looks like they're publishing their F-Series sales numbers. Like they've sold a lot of F-Series. More than they have in the past. Having a good time and doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. F-150s, F-250s, F-350s, F-350s. Ooh, let's go check out Ford Rangers. Like me some Ford Rangers, man. Look at it, it's so sporty, it's beautiful. I sold 3,000 of those things? All right, last one, we'll look at Uber, guys. Oh. Where's the unicorns and snowflakes and... Come on, guys. Yeah, so... Uber doesn't have a lot of price discovery, guys, as far as its share price. So in the realm of equity, this is not like, oh, buy it, it's cheap. No, you buy this when it's a bullish trend, man. And this is clearly not a bullish trend. Yeah, you haven't, I mean, Uber's basically just been, if you can find people to loan you the shares, I mean, one of the best shorts of the last, of the year, to be honest with you. I mean, just nothing. This is like ICO profit right here. No different, guys. Now we'll see. Like, let it have some price discovery. This needs like, you know, Uber needs like 3 to 5 years to get some price discovery. I generally don't trade stocks like this. Hey, thank you, Tyrone. Highly appreciate it, my friend. No, I really don't use JD Lim's TD anymore. It's not part of my active system. And also, JD stopped adding people to his indicator, and I think that I maybe had something to do with that because, you know, his indicator was popular, and then I made that video, and that video's had like 15 to 20,000 views, and a lot of people were really interested in that because obviously TD is popularized by people like Tone Vase. So I now recommend people to use Glaz's TD indicator. Wally still got your short from 82.45 as a learning process. Hey, we gonna learn together, buddy. We are going to learn together, my friend. I mean, I have a short from 10,000 open if it's any consolation, but I've taken all the profit on it. Now it's just equity hedged, so I'm not actually actively making money in dollar terms. I am currently making BTC though. Let's do, and I also have a long open, so which is at break even right now. Actually, let's go see. Let me go pull up my open trades. Cumulative up 19.15% on all my open trades. And actually, no, correct. Yeah, every single trade is in the green. With my Bitcoin trade actually being up 0.02%, which is a gain. Biggest winners, obviously, of the day are going to be Mana and Steam right now. But yeah, weighted toward altcoins right now. Weighted toward altcoins, because that's where the volatility is. And with that note, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, look at that green screen kind of fading back there in the white. See what happens when I turn down the contrast and listen to you guys? Whoa, hey, what are you doing over there? Who just flipped the camera on me, guys? Thank you guys so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Of course, I've been your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Now, listen, I don't want you guys to be afraid or alarmed or frightened, but it has come to my attention that I won't see you guys until Monday. Now, it's okay, guys. We have set up a support group. It's called discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com, where we can discuss the markets and go through all this, all the weekend volatility, which, by the way, tends to be more bullish than bearish, especially for altcoins. Weekends tend to be altcoins realm together. So make sure to join the Discord over at discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com and put the screw you back in the bull market. Now, if you guys are new or aspiring traders looking to learn from a verified team, or if you are experienced traders looking to sharpen your skills, make sure to check out the link in the description down below. Where's the banner? It's right up here, premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Sometimes it's below, sometimes it's above. Always got to check. You can also check out the podcast if you guys need more cracking cryptocurrency in your lives. I know I do. At breakingbitcoin.money, as well as today's show notes, previous show notes, all the links to everything we talked about. It's all there, well curated, and we will have timestamps up if you guys are watching this at a later time. Question of the day. What kind of trading crypto 101s would you guys like to see? I've been a little delinquent on making new trading crypto 101 videos, and I'd like to get back into the studio. So let me know what you guys would like to see here on the YouTube channel. Answer that question below. Also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, let me know down below, and I will try to get back to you and or answer your questions. That will also enter you for a chance to win 8,000 XSPC. Yes, I usually do drink about a glass of water after I do the outro and the intro. You guys just can't see it. Thank you guys so much for your time, for spending your Friday with me. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Be very safe over the weekend. Trade safely, and I will see you on Monday to crack some cryptocurrency, guys.